Now this is a really nice pure sine wave powered inverter by MFUZOP. Hard to pronounce, but it's rock solid, and I'm going to show you in this video. Now it's definitely bigger than the other brands, and it has this mounting points on the side with the rubber spacers. It's going to be easier to mount. Also, it has these big guards over here for the battery connector, so you don't make any shorts. It's nice that they've included cables in the box. These are 4-gauge cables. These are rated for 150, 200 amps easy. Also, you have a remote, because once mounted in the van or in a cab or something like that, they definitely thought about putting a remote on it. Very, very long cable attached to it already. Quite important, here on the top, you have a little plastic cap. This is not what's holding the wire. You're gonna need to remove this nut over here. Nut goes on top. To have a good connection over here is very important, so that's why they put this thing there. And now this cap goes on top and protects the connection. So this is a nice look, because there's nothing to make shorts. The cable are long enough to be hooked up to a battery. Okay, so it just went through its checkup. The fans are variable speed. That's important because they will keep your cab quieter when you are pulling less power from it than from its maximum. Here in the front, you have a LED light. The camera might not sync very, very well to it, but right now it's telling me that the battery is at 13.05 volts. You have a USB, a USB-C, and then this is the remote over here. The remote is plug and play with the unit off here. Then you could use the remote button for it, and it comes on and off. So that is a really, really nice feature. The air, it gets sucked through here, pushed through here. You could clearly feel it. It's going through its checkup right now. Vamps up the fans, checks them, make sure that they could go, and then they stop. Okay, let's plug something into it and see what happens. Now I've just plugged in a heater gun to it. This is only 1500 watts. This one can handle 2000 watts. But what I want to be very, very clear is that this battery cannot handle 2000 watts. So this is a single battery, can only handle about 1200 watts by itself. So it will run this heater. Let's try 750 watts, that's half power. And you're going to hear the fans coming on. So until it gets hot, the fans don't come on unless you put it on maximum power. So right now I'm going to switch this one to maximum power. As soon as it's going to see that I'm drawing a lot of amps, 1500 watt hours, then it will ramp up the fans, and you're going to hear the fans on the inverter also. And you can hear the fans. They just went crazy right now because I'm almost maxing it out for what it can do. I'm only about 500 amps under, but I'm surprised that actually the battery was able to hold up this consumption, because that battery is not rated for 1500 watts. I've just switched my camera to 60 frames per second, see if it's going to be able to capture what's going on this, because the frequency for that screen is exactly the same as the camera. But basically, right now it's telling you the amperage that is pulling out. So it's 122 volts at 62 amps. That's how much I'm pulling from the battery. Now, how clean is the power? Well, I'm going to try to run my desktop computer off of it. So I'm going to plug it in and see how much my computer is actually going to like this type of a power. Yes, some people will show you all kinds of like curves, ups and down, and all kinds of expensive devices. For me, it's important to work. So my computer likes it. It seems like the battery is like only half charged, but the voltage is nice and clear. It's already doing the math for you right now. 168 watt hours, 165 watt hours. But if I will move the mouse or something like that, I'm sure it's gonna change. So let's move the mouse a little bit, see what happens. 194, so it's definitely changing as far as that goes. It's running like this for a while. I can't really pull enough power with this computer, even though it can pull up like 500 watts. Not enough to heat it up. So the fans are completely quiet and silent. They're just sitting there because this thing just cannot get warm when you pull 200 watts out of it. I think it can cool off 200 watts easy. I just brought a heater over here. So I just turned it on. It's 80s, 90s. So this is pulling a lot of amps right now. Actually, it even says it here in the front. 1187, so that one is maxed out. Unfortunately, the battery just cannot hold on to more than that, but you can handle it with no problem. Of course, the fan are running, so you can hear them, because I'm pulling a lot of watts out of it. It's trying to be proactive and keep itself cool. You can charge an electric bike with it easy, or you could charge a bike and a scooter. And if you put a power plug in here, an extension cord, then you could just do other stuff, because these things don't pull up too much. So if you're gonna put this one into a cab of a car or a van or something like that, the fans, there's nothing that you could do about it. You're gonna hear them from time to time. So if you put them into an area where you could isolate the sound a little bit, it's nice. It's quieter than other units because it's variable speed, but once you're gonna peg it to 1500 watts or more, it will run the fans at full speed. Also, it needs a room to be able to suck air to the back and push it to the front. So that's something you want to keep in mind. But if you're in winter time somewhere and you need some extra heat, this will do it. So not only are you going to heat up your van with whatever you have plugged in at that particular point, but this thing will also put some nice heat out there. Pair it with two batteries that are 100 amp BMSs on it, because you can pull that much out of it. One battery, it can overrun it really, really easy. This battery is struggling to keep up with the inverter at 1500 watt hours, or a little bit over 100 amp hours. And you could tell this is built to pull a lot of amps. So as I said throughout this video, I'm not going to show you very fancy curves and other things that people do when they buy these things. For me, it's very, very simple. Does it work or not? And it runs my computer, it runs a heater, it runs my power tools in the garage, it runs a vacuum cleaner. You can run anything on it as long as you have power, as long as you give it 12 volts in the back. This is pretty cool. Thanks for watching.